Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today's the day we're talking about Spearhead. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Introducing Spearhead, a fast and furious new mode for the new AOS. So you guys know that I love Combat Patrol. It's a great way to get in some quick games, introduce new people to the hobby, or just build up those reps. And now it's coming to Age of Sigmar. We've shown off loads of new additions of Warhammer Age of Sigmar so far, from the impactful new commands, the tightened up fight phase, changes to spells and prayers, and the modular rules that underpin everything. But when the new edition was first announced, the Warhammer studio excitedly spoke about Spearhead, a brand new way of playing the game. Now it's time to find out what it's all about. Alright, and then here we see a bunch of the Vanguard and Spearhead boxes right here. So you'll be able to just pick up one box. It'll have some specified like rules in there. You'll have your war scroll cards. You build the box and you're ready to play. No worrying about like extensive list building, which options to build your guys as, or what weapons or equipment to give them. It's all just set up and ready to go. And then there's minimal things that you can actually change to kind of alter the game or like your objectives. But overall, it's set up to where you buy, build, and play. What is Spearhead? Spearhead is a new game format for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, where you self-contained existing boxes of miniatures to play fast and furious games with the streamlined rules and nail-biting finishes. There are a number of differences between full-size match play games and Spearhead, which has been designed to make the game accessible but retain rich tactical depth. It's a brilliant standalone game and a fantastic primer for what you can expect from full-scale battles of Warhammer the Age of Sigmar. And here we see like two of the newest boxes that came out, the Castellite Company Cities of Sigmar, and then the Carrion Retainers Flesh Eater Courts. Spearhead's footprint is also dramatically smaller than that of a full game. Played on a board measuring 30 by 22.4, that's a quarter the size of a full battlefield and the perfect size to play on a kitchen or coffee table. So same size as Combat Patrol. The incoming launch box provides everything you need to play with a friend, including 2 complete Spearhead forces, terrain, a double-sided board, and printed objectives, and the pack of cards that really makes this mode tick. You'll also get a beautiful hardcover book that includes everything you need to play, the core rules, the Spearhead battle pack, and the rules for every Spearhead force in the game, so you can start playing with your existing collections immediately. Okay, so that is the launch box they're talking about. Now, the launch box for 40k was Leviathan, and the launch box for Sigmar last edition was Dominion. So I'm very curious, as this one says it's going to have 2 full Spearhead forces, which 40k does actually have a starter set with that, which includes terrain also, but the launch box itself did not come with terrain for either one of the previous editions. So I'm curious if they're talking about 2 different things here, and they've just kind of worded it strangely, because we have not seen any of like the Dominion, Leviathan, Indominus, any of those boxes come with terrain. So that would definitely be a big change. But regardless, that's very cool. We did see something very similar to what they're describing, but it was a starter set that came later for 40k. Existing Vanguard and Spearhead boxes. Each faction's Spearhead force is created from the contents of a single box, and all currently available Vanguard boxes will be rebranded as Spearhead boxes. As these sets contain different quantities of models, Spearhead has its own dedicated war scrolls and faction rules and introduces new mechanics to balance each force against one another. The Warhammer studio has put tremendous effort into this balance, and as a result, every game you play comes down to a knife edge. This is one of the most play-tested games we've ever produced, by virtue of how quickly it is to play and how much fun we were all having with it, explains Ben, product developer of Age of Sigmar. Once you know how to play, you can get through a game during a lunch break. The whole Warhammer studio was so enthused about it, we had a chart on the wall listing which faction had played against which other factions and how many times. People couldn't get enough. We've run 2 huge leagues so far, so we have lots of data to work with. With some Spearhead boxes containing elite units and monsters, and others packed with quintessential troops and foot heroes, balance is established in a number of ways, from holding powerful units back for later turns, to giving less durable units a second chance at life. Okay, so very cool. It does sound like they have adequately tested this. You're going to have essentially like reserves that come in later, so you won't get some of your stronger units early. You're going to have like units coming back as like recursion or reinforcements throughout the game if they're destroyed early. Very, very cool. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. Units from Spearhead forces with the reinforcements keyword can return to the battlefield after they've been destroyed. By using the Call for Reinforcements ability, you can set up a fresh unit in friendly territory, providing you with a way to reposition and resurge in future turns. So reinforcements. Some units have the reinforcements keyword. These units can be brought back to the battlefield after being destroyed as a replacement unit. If any of the units have reinforcements keyword, you can use the following ability. Once per turn, your movement phase. Call for reinforcements. Declare, pick a friendly reinforcements unit that has been destroyed. Effect, set up an identical replacement unit on the battlefield, wholly within friendly territory, wholly within 6 inches of the battlefield edge, and not in combat. Each reinforcement unit can only be placed once. Replacement units cannot themselves be replaced. And that is keyword core. Units with reinforcements keyword have this icon in the top right corner of their war scroll for ease of use. So we see like a red banner with a sort of like recycle looking symbol. So very cool. Particularly powerful units may instead be held in reserve. Yndrasta's Spearhead, for example, features a God King Sigmar's Prime Hunter and a trio of hefty annihilators. But the Lightning Strike Arrival ability keeps them off the board until the penultimate battle round. That means you have Vanquishers, Night Vexillor, and Stormstrike Chariot need to hold the ground until the damage dealers can arrive and turn the tables. So we have the battle trait. Alright, so we have battle trait Yndrasta's Spearhead, Signs of the Storm. Yndrasta and your Annihilators unit are not set up during the deployment phase. Instead, from the third battle round onwards, they can use the following ability. Your movement phase, Lightning Strike Arrival. Effect, set up this unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 6 from all enemy units. Okay, so I do like this. Obviously, you have the ability to hold stuff back typically in your games, but this requires you to do so and then tells you exactly when they're going to arrive and how they're going to be set up. And again, I do like this because it's basically them kind of micromanaging the balance. It does look like this is very well tested, and I'm definitely getting the impression that this is going to be super cool. And it also accounts for like some of the spearheads being much more points than others. There's like tweaks inside of the actual like box rules for this game mode that are going to balance out some of those differences. This is the battle trait for Yndrasta's Spearhead. Each faction gets their own powerful and thematic battle traits, and can choose from 1 or 2 different regiment abilities, and 1 of 4 enhancements at the start of the battle to customize their forces once they know who they're facing. So now War Scrolls in Spearhead. Spearhead War Scrolls are slightly simplified, but designed to feel similar to War Scrolls in the full game. The Spearhead Battle Pack doesn't use advanced rule modules, so it doesn't involve special rules for command models or advanced magic, but it does include many of the advanced concepts through the abilities and cards. The warriors almost always share the same characteristic and base weapon profiles as their full Warhammer Age of Sigmar equivalents, but the war scrolls have all been adjusted to work properly at this scale. For instance, the clan rats below are vile verminous hordes who will swarm the Spearhead board. In full Warhammer Age of Sigmar games, they'll lose the reinforcements keyword, but gain command group benefits and the crit auto wound ability, making them even more ferocious. Alright, so we see the clan rats, Rusty Blade, 2 attacks, 4+ to hit, 5+ to wound, rend, dash, damage 1. Move 6, health 1, 5 up save, control 1, and then they have the end of any turn Seething Swarm. You can return a D3 slain models to this unit. And then we see at the bottom under keywords, they have reinforcements. And then we also see the symbol here at the top for reinforcements. So very cool, very easy to read, super basic, everything you need on this card. I'm definitely a big fan of this. The Disc Riding Magistar demonstrates how magic is simplified in Spearhead. In full Warhammer Age of Sigmar games, the Bolt of Tzeentch spell is part of a spell lore you can choose for your army. Here it's tweaked to fit Spearhead, and turned into a simple ability. With no magic module, there's no need for power levels or casting values, so everything fits into the neat ability that emulates all the fundamental rules for casting a spell, rolling 2d6 and blasting foes on a successful roll. Okay, so again we see like simplified magic rules. He has move 14, health 6, save 4+, control 2. And then we have the Magistar of Tzeentch ranged weapon, Tzeentch Ruin Staff, 18-inch range, 1 attack, hits on 3, wounds on 4, rend dash, damage D3. Then we have his melee weapons, the Warp Steel Sword and Disc Teeth and Horns. So 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, rend dash, damage D3. And then the companion for the disc also gets to attack at 2 attacks, 4 up to hit, 3 up to wound, 1 rend, D3 damage. And then we see his hero phase ability, Bolt of Change, which is essentially his magic. Declare, pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of this unit to be the target, and then make a casting roll of 2d6. Effects, on a 6+, inflict a d3 mortal damage on the target. If any models are slain by this ability, you can pick a friendly Zangor unit wholly within 18 of this unit, and return 1 slain model to the Zangor unit. Yeah, definitely a fan. I like it. It captures like magic, still lines up with the war scrolls from the game, but just simplifies it, turns it into an ability, and just makes for an overall like simplified process that's still going to be fun and in depth. Still has similar or the same mechanics, but just presents it in a much more approachable state for like new players which is going to be all of us, obviously, with the new edition. So this covers the basics of Spearhead, but there's another driving force for the new game mode. 2 decks of cards are included in the box, one that provides you with a twist for each round, and another that gives you the ability to score battle tactics to use powerful command abilities. They're a critical part of what makes Spearhead so compelling with rich strategic depths. So we'll be taking a closer look at them later in the week. Okay, so we'll have battle tactics, which are going to be like essentially like primary objectives, which will be really nice. Obviously, you'll get to pick the equivalents of like your secondaries as well, out of those 4 for your faction specifically. And then the twists are pretty cool. They can be anything from like no effect to severely limiting shooting or crippling combat. There's all kinds of different twists. In the past, we've seen twists used quite a bit in warcry, and they're definitely fun, but they can make a game almost auto win for one faction or the other, just based on like what's in the actual army box. So I'm interested how those are going to be balanced, or if the twist is just kind of going to be a wild card. And there is just a note down here that the rules will be available for free online shortly after release of the launch set. The Man Crusher mob set will also become a Spearhead, giving Sons of Bahamut a way to play Spearhead games. That is absolutely amazing. Every game is 4 rounds, and if you want to get started assembling your Spearhead or Vanguard sets ahead of time, build them as they're shown on the front of the box, and you'll be good to go. While command models don't add extra rules in the game mode, we encourage you to build them anyway for when you want to use your units in the larger games. Alright, so very cool, very exciting. I am super pumped that Sons of Bahamut are going to get the Man Crusher mob in here as well. I'm absolutely loving everything we've seen for Age of Sigmar so far, and now Spearhead looks awesome as well. So let me know if you're as excited as I am, which Spearhead you're going to be picking up, and what faction you're going to be playing. You're going to be playing an existing army you already have, or you're going to be starting a new army. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on these Spearheads or any other Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I am super excited for this, and I'm out of here.